Welcome back to Strategy in Small Doses. We are in the middle of our mini series, 8 Mistakes Costing You Income in Your Business. Again, don't forget, you can grab that PDF on the website or the link in the show notes if you want all 8 mistakes up front. Okay, let's dive in. Number 3. This one is going to have all of my creative entrepreneurs, the ones that hate numbers, rolling their eyes. But for those of us that love data and love numbers, this is one of my favorites. Number 3, not tracking your activities. If you have no way to track what you are doing in your business, how do you know what's working and what is not working? You could be spending your time, your energy, and your resources in the wrong places. Maybe they're in the right places, but maybe you're not doing enough of it because you don't know where the right places are, right? So that is number 3, not tracking your activity. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have multiple different lead generation. You have social media, you use Pinterest from a search engine perspective, you have blogging, you have email marketing, right? So all of those are several lead generations of bringing people into your pipeline. Well, if you're not tracking where your leads are actually coming from, so you get a discovery call, you book a client, you get somebody buys one of your passive offers, something of that sort. If you're not tracking it, you have no idea where it's coming from, right? And the thing about it is like it's great to have multiple lead generation funnels in the beginning. But at some point, you need to know which ones are working the best and which ones aren't, so you can put all of your efforts there, right? You're spreading yourself so thin because you're doing all the things, you're doing all the activities, and even if you have help, but could you be doubling down on a couple of them and actually seeing even more exponential growth inside of your business, more money, more leads, more downloads, whatever it is, whether it's your podcast, like I said, there's so many different things, but you can't spread yourself so thin, right? And there's only so much time, energy, and resources. And if you're giving 10%, 10%, 10%, 10% in 10 different places, that's great in the beginning, but then look at that 10% and see where is 90% or even 80% of your income in your business coming in from, and then take and do more of it, right? You have to know what is working and what isn't working. That's just one example. So lead generation. Number 2 could be your time. It could be, where are you spending your time? Are you spending your time in the right places? Are you getting on a bunch of networking events? I found myself doing this in the beginning of the year. I was networking like crazy and I was on the phone all the time. But the reality is, after a couple months, I had to really look at it and go, what did I gain from all of this networking? I really didn't gain a lot because it wasn't the right groups. It wasn't the right style of networking for my right fit client, which meant I was spending my time on something and I was busy and I was maybe gaining new connections, but gaining new connections that weren't necessarily the right fit, right? And so if you don't reflect on that and you're not tracking that activity to go, how many hours am I spending here? What am I gaining from this? How is this helping my business? Because be honest with yourself. It's about growth. It's about revenue. It's about profit. You are in business to make money, whether that's $100 or $1,000 or $10,000. It doesn't matter. But the reality is that your business still needs revenue to operate. And so without revenue and without profit, you're not gaining anything, right? So that's the other thing with tracking your numbers is this even profitable? The last thing you want to do is at the end of a quarter or at the end of the year, find out that, yeah, maybe you made $100,000, but you spent so much money and you spent so much time and you had so many expenses that you ended up not making hardly any money at all. Like, who wants to make $100,000 in revenue with a $20,000 profit? You know what I mean? Like, your goal is to increase your profit margin. Well, if you aren't tracking your profit margin throughout the year and throughout the months, you're at the end of the year and it doesn't matter. You've lost it, right? It's too late by then. And that's the problem, is when you're not tracking your activity regularly, by the time you do track it, it's probably too late. You've missed out on multiple different opportunities to whether increase your sales, increase your leads. Like, for example, let me give you another example. I was doing a lot of networking on LinkedIn in the beginning of the year. And then I looked back on my new clients and where did my new clients come from? And my new clients had come from Facebook groups, right? So that's very solid data that you need to know and look at to go, do I need to spend a little bit more time on Facebook groups inside of them, value if that's where my clients are coming from? Are my LinkedIn efforts going, unnoticed? But they weren't, but it was brand new. So you look at that and go, well, you've only been on LinkedIn for 6 months, but you've been on Facebook for 3 years. Like, that's numbers. It's data that you can look at. Okay. So actions. Number one, if you don't know where to start, I have a freebie. It's called Monthly Money Metrics. It's a simple, just spreadsheet that says, here's the 5 areas I feel like you should be tracking your data. So it's marketing, financial, social media, sales pipeline, and time and revenue, obviously sales, money. And so you can grab that. It's very easy. But if the other thing that you can do, if that's even overwhelming, if you don't want one more thing to look at or have to fill in, which you really need to, or find somebody that can do it for you. Find a bookkeeper, find a VA that can kind of track this activity for you. Pick one thing to start tracking. One simple thing. So maybe you're going to track the amount of connection or discovery calls you do every single month, and you're going to track how many of them convert. So at the end of the month, you're going to go back through your calendar, go back through your scheduling app, Calendly, Acuity. They keep track of all of this. You're going to look at each one of them. You're going to take the total number, and you're going to see how many converted, right? Then if you want to take it a step further, you can look at, where did the ones that convert come from? Where did the ones that didn't convert come from? Why or why not? Do you need to follow up, right? There's another data numbers that you need to track is, do you need to follow up with them? Maybe now just wasn't the right time. Do you see how all of them lead to the next one? But if you start with one thing, so that's simple. Go back through your calendar, look at all of the calls you've done that month, and look at conversion rate. That's one simple task that you can do and you can start implementing right now, that then you can dive a little bit deeper into if you want to, okay? Maybe you're going to look simply at revenue minus expenses to give you your profit. Are you spending money on software you don't need to be spending it on? Are you outsourcing too much and giving away all of your profit? Do you need to be looking at your outsourcing costs? Those type things, okay? And the other thing that you can do, if you are super overwhelmed by this, is just pick like starting number, ending number. So growing your email list. Put a note in your calendar on the first of every month to look at the starting number of subscribers on your email list. At the end of the month, put another note in your calendar to say, look up the end number of subscribers. Did it grow? Did it fall? How many times? Then again, take that a next step further. How many times did you email them? Where did your new subscribers come from? So you can start to see for the next month or maybe the next quarter, oh, wow, I've got 3 different freebies and 90% of my leads are coming from this one specific freebie. Great. Ditch the other 2 and go all in on that one and grow your list even bigger. If that's the one that's resonating with your right fit clients, do more of it. I could talk about this all day long, but I'm going to cut it off from there. So actions, go grab my monthly metrics. It's free. It's on my website. Go grab it. I'll even link it here in the show notes. Number 2, pick one thing, one simple thing to start tracking. And 3, if you don't even know where to start tracking it, pick your starting number, end number, and go from there. Okay? That's what I got for you today. That's mistake number 3, not tracking your activity. We'll talk soon.